I just felt like recording and getting, a couple stuff off my chest. So today, on whatever visual diary we on, we gonna talk about how people really got your girl messed up, okay? I just have to keep reminding myself I have a lot more life to live. Part of the process and a part of growing is to make mistakes. Like on a Monday morning and I'm still in bed, being very unproductive. But I don't know, maybe I'm the problem. I don't know, am I the drama? That's how I'm feeling though. So the last time I uploaded was in January. I've been recording in February. It's now March. I don't know when this video is gonna get out.
I'ma be hotter than lava, get in my mode and go harder.
What's up, y'all? Is that maybe like an official YouTuber now? This is like, well, to you guys, this would be visual diary number 2. I've been recording for like the last 2 months. I probably made like 8 videos, but none of them made the cut because they just didn't make the cut. So I decided to mash them all up. So y'all gonna see clips from a span of 2 months and a voiceover basically. But before we get into that, I do have a PSA. Just based on the reaction y'all had to the last video, these visual diaries, like I stated in the first one, it is mainly for me so I can track my growth and see what I was going through certain periods of times and how I overcame it and what was my mindset. So when I look back at these certain things, I want to see did my mindset change, or when I get to a certain period of life that I have a understanding, I can understand why and what made me get to that point. And that'll basically help me having grace and mercy for others, stay humble where I came from, all that stuff. You guys don't have to pity me, be sorry for things that I go through. If I'm speaking on a situation, 9 times out of 10 I'm at peace with it, or I'm at peace with the unknown. I gave it to God already. It's no longer something that burdens me to the fact that I can't move anymore. So I want to share my journey, and I want to learn to be vulnerable, I guess, in front of other people. But they don't pity me. I'm okay. With all that being said, topic at hand today is, I've realized, well, I've been new this, but I've realized how much of a pessimistic person I am. Over the past 2 months, it's just really been dawning on me. It's just been popping up. So I realized that's an area that I need to grow in. And another thing we're going to talk about is how much your environment plays a role in your journey to growth and development and progress. Your mindset and your environment plays a role in how you grow, basically. So in the video prior, I spoke on the realization of me living my life through trauma and being in constant survival mode. Everyone has their level of trauma in their life that they experience, because I feel like trauma is subjective to everyone's situation. So there's a good portion of my life that is just inevitable, like certain things that are out of my control that happened to me, that I've witnessed. All that contributes to, the things that I consider trauma. But after a certain period in my life, after I realized a pattern being continued, especially in the field of me not being able to trust people, or me not being able to depend on people, I feel like that's where I inflict certain things on myself, and I create trauma. I self-sabotage because I feel like it's not going to go right anyways, so let me do this because now I'm comfortable in my dysfunction. I'm comfortable in things not going well. I'm now taking accountability in knowing that the seeds in this situation were the trauma, whether I inflicted them or not, and I chose to water them with the self-sabotage and the mindset of pessimism. Like, it's impossible to please God without faith. It's impossible to, go after certain things without having goals. You can't look at the bright side of things because you're always looking at how can this go wrong, how can this person do you dirty. To get into the routine of things, it gets comfortable, like knowing that you can rely on you and just you, and you don't have to depend on other people. It gets very comfortable, and it's a scary place to be in. But in order to grow, in order to prosper, elevate in the long run, you have to be vulnerable, especially with God. Of course, there'll be a there will come a time and place where you have to be vulnerable with people. But to start by being vulnerable with God. Like, tell him literally in any and everything. Especially like when you sin, don't let the devil get in your ear. Don't let him get in your head and be like, oh, you can't talk to God. No, you literally got to be blunt, open. This is it. You overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of your testimony. Literally, you can start by speaking to God, and eventually you go out and reach out to other people. But you don't have to live in shame and guilt. Like, you have to understand that this is what I did, but I'm not that. Like, my identity doesn't lie in what I did or the decision that I made in that point in time. What I'm not saying is that you can't hold yourself accountable. I'm actually saying that accountability is definitely a big thing. When you do something, you have to do the full 180, and when you turn around, don't run away from your problem or turn in a different direction. Make sure when you're turning into that 180 angle, you're turning towards God, that he may be a light into your feet and he may guide you into the right direction aside from where you were going. And then his mercies are new every day, so you don't got to worry about not being forgiven or he looks at you with a frown face or none of that. No, who the Son sets free is free indeed. Once he forgive you, you just know that, all right, I have that scar on my body. When someone asks me about the scar, I know where I came from. And it helps you to, like I said in the beginning of the video, it helps you to have grace for other people. When you see someone else in that situation, oh shoot, I was there before, I know what it feels like to be in that situation. So you can help someone else potentially get out of their hole. But from there on, once you're vulnerable with God, I feel like you have to, and this is something that I've learned in the past 2 months, you have to give it to God to know, who should I be vulnerable with? Who should I not be vulnerable? Who should I give to? Who should I not give to? When I do give, how much do I give? That's something that I still have a hard time doing, but I've learned, like, I came a long way. I feel much better. I don't feel like I'm as stingy with giving anymore. I don't give with the heart that second guesses or thinks like, would this person do it for me? Like, no, be a good person and do what's right because it's the right thing to do, not because that person can give you something back in return on that. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. And I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I haven't overcome the whole living through trauma thing. So sometimes I use trauma to my advantage. Sometimes I be like, you know what, the little girl in me, if I had somebody like the person I am today, I would want that person to pour into my cup in this way. So I be the person that I wish I had growing up, or the person I wish I had in that situation that I've been through. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's evidence of God using what the enemy used to destroy you. He using it for the good and using it to build other people as well. So he's using what you've been through to not only fulfill you in a way, but fulfill others. So I got that clear. I realized the problem in me with pessimism, and I've been working on that. That's the reason why I have a bit to say about pessimism and how to overcome it, or at least start to overcome it. But what I still have difficulty with, and I'm still looking to find resolution, is being in an environment where I'm rusty. People are not adding to the corrosion and rust that I already have. Instead, to sharpen me as iron so we can, build off each other type of thing. Moving has been very, very heavy on my mind. Like, I already know the place I want to move to. I've been looking at, places, cost of living, all that stuff. But I'm kind of fearful in a way, or hesitant, that I'm running away from fixing an environment instead of just patching up a wound and just replacing it with something new. Because I want to be around friends, I want to be around family, I want to be around people that care enough about their souls and their minds, their well-beings and their growth journey, that they take so much attention and care of what they got going on and where they're going, that even if they don't pay attention to me, by me watching their journey, I can be inspired, or I can learn from their journey, and vice versa. By me doing the same thing, they can learn from me. And then throughout the path, we can just share, knowledge and all that stuff. But I feel like I don't really have that. I don't really have anyone to bounce back off on, or people don't carry the same moral compass or moral values as I do. So when I fall, or even if they do certain things and I hold them accountable, or if I say certain things, if it makes me feel like, oh, I'm being just a bad person, or I'm just doing too much, it's not even that deep, or I'm being too emotional, like I always hear. I'm aware that there's a lot of places that need improvement in my life, but one thing I do know for sure is I know where I want to end up in life. And with that being said, I'm not one to risk or really be negligent in a sense to just kick it with anybody or be in relations with anybody. No, I'm super adamant about being equally yoked with anybody that's in my circle. If I work with you and I kick it with you on a daily basis, I know like it's inevitable for you to rub off on me, or me to rub off on you. And I don't know if it's that's good or bad, in what way it's going to happen. So I have to be very particular in who I have around me and who I'm dating, who I'm in relationships with, who I'm friends with, what type of family I let, in on certain things. When it comes to being vulnerable, you have to give that to God to bring it back in full circle. The story of the man who got healed, his friends in the Bible, exists because of people being courteous to who they have around them. Now, I'm not saying don't hang out with certain people because they can't add to being, or they don't bring nothing to the table. Even though it's kind of contradictory, Jesus was known for being friends with sinners. Now, where it comes to the whole point of this video, where I was saying, you basically have to put God first in literally everything you do. Not just say, put God first. No, actually put God first. Like, in everything that you do, you have to invite him in. That's what that means, to put God first. Invite him into everything that you do and allow him to be the judge. Allow him to guide you and be that voice or that vision and that, sense of discernment. If you actually pay attention and rewind the video, you can hear me say, I feel like a lot in this video. A lot of the things that I perceive as trauma, or the things that led up to me being the way that I am right now and having to unlearn everything, is because my life was based on feeling. I was doing things based on how I felt, how people made me feel. Let God be that sense for you to be vulnerable, being able to step back and not be in control. And that's how I'm going about unlearning pessimism and going about developing land that soil is actually fertile, because my environment, the soil, is fertile, and I can actually put seeds in and it'll prosper, not just off of me, but off of the people around me as well. So that's the end of my rant. Hope you guys learned something. Yeah, we out.